I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. Usually, this time of year, I'm on my way to the Winter NAMM show. However, with COVID still being an issue, it's not happening. Now, there will be a Summer NAMM, but instead of Nashville, it'll be in Anaheim and be in June of 2022. Manufacturers are facing supply chain issues and other manufacturing problems, but they're starting to announce a lot of new products, such as PRS announcing their SE Silver Sky last week. But I'm sure we're going to see a lot of new stuff for 2022 regardless. But I'm sure we're going to see it's going to be a trickle before this new summer NAMM show rather than the onslaught of gear that usually tends to hit us all at once at the NAMM show, like drinking Jack Daniels from a fire hose. But in the meantime, I have actually had my eyes on some interesting stuff that I'd like to explore for 2022, and I figure I'd share some of this stuff with you guys this week, even though most of this is equipment that's been out for a while. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. And if you want to share it, well, there's a button for that as well. Now, recently I've been looking at preamps. And when you say preamp, the idea of a Neve or an API style console-like recording device comes to mind, like a mic pre. But in this case, I'm actually talking about some dedicated guitar-centric devices. This type of device would more than likely be in one of the spots of my MS3, in one of the loops. And I wouldn't be surprised if it would be one of those devices that you just leave on. They always call it like the always-on pedal. And I've been checking out some interesting options. Hudson Electronics makes a very interesting unit, their broadcast pedal. It seems very intriguing, as well as their signature aerial Posen model. Coppersound strategy preamp also happens to fall into the zone of an always-on preamp type effect that I actually have some experience with. I did a review for one of the pedals for Performer Magazine, and I'll place that link in the space below. And I really found the Coppersound pedal to pair very nicely with my Blues Junior, and it was fantastic. It was great as an always-on. It worked well with my other drive pedals. It livened up a lot of what I had going on with my other guitars, not just Stratocasters, even though the Strategy preamp has a Strat signature design and aesthetic to it. But it worked great with humbuckers. It worked great with my Tele. It was really nice to have just a pedal that does more. And that's kind of a cool thing to kind of plug into, something that will just enhance what you have in a very subtle way that just does make a big difference. It's kind of an oxymoron of a subtle big difference, but it really did that. And I'm thinking about possibly adding that in there. The next two devices are by JHS. It's the Clover and the Colorbox. Now, the Clover is a modified copy of the Boss FA1 FET preamp. It has 3 EQ options, and it can very easily make it a go-to unit. It seems like they've kind of worked out all the different options that you would have had on that Boss unit, but they've given you all the other versions that you could possibly think of in there. On its own, I could definitely see it using it to push my amp harder, or in another way, using it as an additional easy to adjust EQ on my pedal board. I could very easily see this residing like a stomp box on a pedal board than an actual studio device, which gets me to this next unit, the Colorbox. When the JHS Colorbox came out, it blew my mind. It's a Neve style circuit and a pedal. It has plenty of options. It is a bit pricey though. But both of these devices have XLR outputs as well as a standard 1/4 inch jack. And I could see both of these preamps being used for acoustics, electrics, and basses, and definitely working in a studio situation. The Clover seems like it would be better on a pedal board, and the Color Box seems like it'd be better as a studio tool, because I'd love to try using that on drums or even percussion, running it in Ascend to actually apply that effect. It may take a while to wash it through, but that would be kind of a cool way to bring a nice Neve preamp sound to a home studio like what I have here. And another thing outside of the preamp stuff, but going back to Coppersound. Coppersound came out with the triple graph pedal last year. Just before I started this YouTube channel, I got to play around with it for a while, and it's a game changer. It has 3 of their telegraph style pedal switches with an octave up and an octave down function, as well as an effects loop. I did a review for that for Performer Magazine, and I'll put that in a link in this area below so you can check it out. It's a kind of whole new way to use octave effects, and I found it was really great to all of a sudden kick in that low extra sound if you want to give it fatten something up, or if you want to just go and kick up that octave up just to really get something to punch through, or turn them both on at the same time. It was a really great device, and I could possibly consider building a small dedicated pedal board based around this for one of my bands, and kind of like a lo-fi, funky, very analog type of approach, which is very cool. And on the other side of analog is digital, and that digital goes to the world of Eventide. Their micro pitch pedal came out. It's very interesting. I'm a very big Eddie Van Halen fan all the years, but I really loved that modulated sound he worked on and had in the later Hagar years as well. And it's really like a spacious modulation, and it's kind of a really unique effect. A lot of guitar players have always copied the Van Halen 1 or Fair Warning or a classic album, but I think some of the later records really have a lot going for it with that kind of spacious, like we hear it on 5150. You definitely hear it on Audio 812, and definitely on For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. And I love that sound. And it's in that Eventide micro pitch. But that might be kind of a little narrow for what it does for an effect. So they've actually built that sound into Eventide's Triceracourse. I've debated also trying to squeeze that type of spacious chorus and modulation that's kind of detuned. I've kind of tried to figure out a way to get that out of my Source Audio Collider pedal. I've also been kind of trying to play around with using my MS3 having a couple of harmonizers running one up, one down to kind of get that type of thing. I haven't really tailored it where it doesn't sound too processed. That's the big thing of making it just sound bigger but not completely lifeless. Is just and trying to play to the effect. You're trying to have the effect add more than take away than what you happen to have. The other thing is I may have to go to a stereo rig to fully appreciate it. And it's not that hard in the studio. Here I have my Strymon Iridium, and that could very easily have that run in stereo. But live would be problematic. I have to get another amp, and hauling another amp around, it adds a whole new set of problems. I've also debated updating my pedal board as well. Vertex Pedals has some new pedal boards that just came out. They call them the Mark II. They are a bit pricey, but they might work out better than the pedal train that I have right now, because of the size as well as the second tier and the storage space that can go underneath that second tier. It's a great option. And I've also, unfortunately, gone down that rabbit hole of designing my own custom pedal board, because I'm running into limitations on this pedal train, and every time I try to come up with a solution to a problem for my pedal board using commercial off-the-shelf items, I always seem to fix one problem, but then some other issue becomes a roadblock. So I'm trying to work on those ideas right now. And when I get to a stage where I think it's worth sharing, you'll be the first to know about it. So I'd like to throw that out there. I'm still trying to sort that out, especially as hopefully for 2022 we'll be gigging hopefully a little bit more. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Are there any effects device purchases in your future? What do you think of the choices I've got on deck for 2022? Is there something that you know of that I don't, that is someone's working on or should be out soonish? I'd love to hear of it. Am I missing or skipping over a special item that I should check out? Please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys for what you think the gear for 2022 is going to look like. A lot of stuff I'm looking at is, again, stuff that's been out, but it's been out for a while, and I've been intrigued for a bit, and I think it might be worth checking out. But there's always something new on the horizon, and just let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, that's it, and thanks for watching. Take care.